911, what's your emergency?
My friend's been shot. He's bleeding everywhere. Oh my God, please help me.
Okay, I need you to stay calm. Tell me what happened.
I don't know. We were holding a gun and it went off. I don't think he's breathing now. Oh, please hurry. I think he's dying.
All right, help is on the way. Where was he shot?
Oh, please help me. I'm really scared.
Hello, I'm Jerry Askins, Lieutenant Governor of the state of Oklahoma, and I'm proud to join the Office of Juvenile Affairs in this project. Too often we hear about young children involved in gun-related accidents that are preventable. The purpose of this video is to educate adults to safely store guns in their home and to educate our children that guns are not toys. Our greatest treasures are Oklahoma's children, and we must be diligent in keeping them safe. My hope for this video is to raise awareness of parents, whether they have firearms in their homes or not. Gun safety is a very important topic. It is a discussion all of us must have to preserve the future of our children and for the state of Oklahoma.
Too often, children of this state are appearing in courtrooms such as this to answer allegations concerning the shooting deaths of siblings, playmates, and friends. When a child plays with a firearm like it's a toy, it's usually another child that is harmed or killed. History shows that it's a male victim and a male shooter. Therefore, our sons are killing our sons. These deaths are preventable, and it's our responsibility as adults to educate ourselves and our children concerning gun safety, and more importantly, son safety. Do the adults involved have a legal responsibility to provide guidance? When such a shooting occurs, who is called upon to make the decision as to what was the responsibility of the adults? That job falls to the district attorney. And it's a difficult job, for there's nothing more tragic than the loss of a child. The two cases that we're examining in this video were both handled by District Attorney Brett Burns.
The obligation of a district attorney is to seek justice. And that's across the board in our counties, our jurisdictions, our state. We want to make sure justice is done in every case, that people are held accountable for their actions. We also don't want to ruin people's lives that make a simple mistake. So basically we want to seek consequences for people and make sure justice is done.
Being raised in rural Oklahoma myself, my father taught me the rules concerning gun safety, and I taught them to my children. Many have depended on this tradition of the past generation teaching the next generation that guns are not toys and should not be treated as such. But in today's society, the methods of the past are not enough. Today, I will introduce you to two fathers who lost their sons to gun violence in the same summer, in the same county, and within days of each other. Our focus will be on the victims and how we can prevent these tragedies from striking other families. So let's get to know the sons from the words of the fathers.
Well, Dalton was my firstborn child. Very exuberant young man. He's just never sat still a lot. One of the things I always told him, he was a natural born leader. I don't know where he came up with that, but you could put this boy in a room and he was just one of the kids. He was just a kid that everybody would notice. He drew people to him, and he just had that magnetism to him.
On April 7, 2006, Dalton Dorsey, 15 years of age, and 3 of his friends were camping in rural Caddo County. Dalton brought a .22 caliber rifle to the campsite. There around the campfire, one of the boys handling the rifle shot once, striking him in the head. Dalton died in his father's vehicle en route to the hospital.
The Dalton Dorsey case kind of speaks for itself. It's an individual case, and it still tears your heart out because that family has lost their child.
Dalton's dreams, as with any typical teenager or child growing up, varied from time to time. One of his goals was to go into criminal justice. He always had this desire to go into Secret Service. He thought that would be a cool vocation. He had a flair for artistic design. he had dreams of opening up some graphic shops and doing some things like that. So it was just as varied as his personality was. But you know, one of his deals was go through criminal justice, and he wanted to go into the Secret Service.
I think there's a notion out there to a lot of families that this can't happen to me. Gun violence knows no economic bounds, no social bounds, no racial bounds. You know, we see it with children killed from all nationalities, from all backgrounds. It does happen to you. It happens to the best families in the world. It happens to the worst families. So I think parents have to be conscious that this can happen in our quiet little neighborhood in Oklahoma, or this can happen in the big city. But guns know no boundaries.
Dalton was 6 years older than my next son, so he and I spent, you know, countless hours together. So he was around me while I was handling that. So it was really more one-on-one. So with him, it was just the same way. He would watch me handle one, and as I handled it, I'd explain to him why I did certain things and why we took certain precautions on the safe use of firearms. I think it's got to go back to a parental responsibility that we say, you know, this is right and this is wrong, this is what can happen and this is what's not. I mean, we can't say you go watch the TV to learn your ethics. In Dalton's case, he saw me actually shoot and kill live animals. He knew that if I pull that trigger, something's going to lose its life. He knew the action and the reaction of it.
Many parents hope that by concealing the firearm in the home without the location being revealed to the child provides sufficient safeguards. Once again, this old method is not enough. A recent study cited that 39% of 201 children interviewed indicated they knew the location of the parents' firearms. 22% indicated they had handled the firearm without the parents' knowledge.
Well, Pat was very laid back, very outgoing. He very seldom saw him in a bad mood. He was one of them kids that always liked to go around and cheer everybody else up. And at the time of his passing, that's kind of what he'd done. He gave up something that he loved, which was football, to go down and help my mom. My grandma just passed away, so he was helping her.
On June 28, 2006, in a small town in Caddo County, local police were dispatched to a residence. There they discovered the body of Patrick Bowen with a single gunshot wound to the head. A 10-year-old playmate indicated that they were playing cowboys and Indians when he shot Patrick with a .357 revolver. Following the shooting, 24 firearms were removed from the home.
So you had a situation where you had an unsupervised house full of guns, and there was too much temptations for a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old. You know, that's a recipe that can lead to tragic consequences, and it did in Seaman, Oklahoma.
Well, Pat had his own dreams. He knew he loved football, he loved wrestling. His ultimate goal was to join the military in the Army, be a military police, and travel around. And that was his ultimate goal, was to be like his grandpa, be in the military and defend the United States. I mean, he was all for it.
To protect our children, in the first place, we need to keep our guns up, locked away from children where they can't have open access to them. That doesn't mean you don't take your child to the firing range or in the pasture behind the house and shoot guns. What that means is you don't allow them to play with guns on their own. Almost all of our deaths revolve around children playing with guns, taking guns camping, taking guns fishing, to shoot turtles. They're all accidents that were preventable and they're avoidable if parents will practice good gun safety.
Well, I was brought up rural Oklahoma, small town on a farm, so Grandma and Grandpa taught me from early on, you know, proper ways to handle a gun, clean a gun, take care of a gun, and be responsible about it. And as I grew up, I just kind of made those things a everyday event that I handled one, whether it was hunting, out target shooting. Even when I joined the military as a military police, I was still taught by them. You had a responsibility to take care of your weapons and store them away. And that's what I tried to teach my children, the importance of the proper handling and usage of weapons. If you're going to be responsible enough to have a gun in the house, I believe that you have to start and you have to show pretty much by leadership. You have to say, this is how I do it. This is the proper way to store, to handle, to care for. And we need to realize that these weapons are dangerous, that if they're in the wrong hands by somebody that isn't trained or taught from an early age to handle these weapons, that it can turn into a dangerous situation.
The lives we've lost are really tragic in our area. That happens all across the country. I want parents out there to understand that gun ownership is also gun responsibility. The life they save may be that of their own son, of their daughter, of their family members. What I hope this video provides is some education to save a life and to prevent tragedy.
My hopes for this project is to, I guess, get more awareness out there that firearms aren't toys. As growing up in a rural setting, we are taught and trained, and from an early age, we're brought to know that they're not toys, that they do have repercussions, that they are firearms and are dangerous instruments. We need to teach these young people that either in firearm safety or anything they do, that they need to think through their decisions, because there's usually a direct result of any decision made, and that they can have deadly consequences.
The most important aspect of this project is going to be education. It's going to be getting to the parents in the house with the children. And there's plenty of avenues out there, whether it's through gun dealerships, safety courses, hunting clubs, even the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife, I believe, offers gun safety. So there's plenty of avenues out there. We have to get out and let these people know that they're out there, they're available. If there's money involved, maybe we should look at aspects of setting up funding as a scholarship type basis to help get these kids involved in the safety, the security, and the handling of weapons.
My main message is gun safety, and it's gun responsibility. Again, I'm not advocating negative guns. I'm a big gun user myself. I possess a lot of guns. But I think parents have to be really smart about how you possess guns, how you let your children interact with those guns. In Oklahoma, it's allowable for a parent to let their children shoot guns for skeet, for hunting, for those type of activities. We have a great FFA program, 4-H program across Oklahoma right now on skeet shooting. I think it's a wonderful program. But it's supervised by individuals in the Department of Wildlife. It's supervised by parents, and there's a proper place for them. I think guns are just like vehicles. If they're used improperly, they cause deaths. If they're used properly, that's just part of growing up.
I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Jerry Askins, the two fathers, Jim Dorsey and Jeff Bowen, along with District Attorney Brett Burns. With their efforts, we at the Office of Juvenile Affairs are proud to bring this message to you. Education, gun storage, and responsibility is key no matter how old you are. With this video, I hope to emphasize not just gun safety, but son safety.